Hello there, Maverick currency traders. This is Rob Reinhold, and it is March 6th. Cannot believe 2 months are already in the bag for the year, but that is what happens. So let's talk about what happened today. In this session, we're going to go over what happened today, some of the news. We'll take a look at the commodity markets. We have gold breaking out to a new all-time high. We're going to take a look at the markets. We're going to take a look at the technicals on pretty much everything on the markets, on the cryptos, on all the Forex ones. And then, of course, we're always looking to pair up the strongest with the weakest. And I think this day is going to be cryptocurrency day. There's a lot happening in the crypto space.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional Forex and crypto traders. Maverick Currencies is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional Forex and currency trader for Maverick, click the apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
Here is what the currency board looked like 24 hours ago. So if you remember just yesterday, we had a big fall in equities. We had the NASDAQ fell like 2.5% at one point. It bounced back at the end of the day, only closed down 1.5%. S&P was down like 1.2%, bounced up, closed down about 0.6%. So yesterday was a down day. So we had a risk-off move. We saw a pullback in the cryptos. And we saw a bounce back in the risk-off currencies like the yen and the Swiss franc. Now this was a little bit opposite of what we thought was going to happen this week. We said we are going to have likely a continued move up. We liked some of the risk-on currencies, and we like the yen and the Swiss franc the best for shorts. Now on Monday, we got a really nice move down with the risk-free currencies or the risk-off currencies. That all reversed on Tuesday. The big question is this a great entry point? So we love when you have a downtrending currency like the yen, like the Swiss franc, and then you get these 1 or 2 day bounces. These are great opportunities to get short. The question is, was it a good opportunity to get short? Me personally, my favorite currency for the week was the euro. The euro hasn't done a ton this week. We do have the ECB tomorrow morning. I expect the euro to be a really good trading currency over the next 2 days. Again, like I said, with the cryptos, had a pullback. The cryptos have been red hot. Had a pullback yesterday. The cryptos had a really nice up day today as well. So let's take a look at everything. Let's take a look at the news first. We heard from the Bank of Canada this morning. They left rates at 5%, and the CAD really didn't do anything. I wanted to bring out that gold broke out higher. Remember, there is an inverse relationship with gold and the US dollar. A gold breakout higher is actually negative for a US dollar. We did see the US dollar fall today. We also got some fairly dovish comments from Chairman Powell. He has said that they are still expecting rate cuts this year. Remember, the market was pricing in 3 rate cuts at the first of the year, and those had to be removed, and they removed them. Now they're predicting like 1 rate cut this year, and Chairman Powell said, yeah, we're still expecting to have rate cuts. He said rate cuts, plural. So we did see the 10-year bond trade all the way down to 4.1%. So we saw the dollar fall, we saw the bonds fall, and I think you're going to probably see that continue. I don't think we're going to see bonds fall much more because the economy is really strong, but I don't see any reason why the dollar possibly couldn't weaken off of this news. We were pretty much neutral on the dollar, neutral to bullish. We'll take a look at the dollar chart and see if anything changed, but definitely the backdrop is not great for any long dollar trades at the moment. As you can see, the dollar was the weakest currency for the day, down about 0.5%. Swiss franc was weak. Remember, we love when we have a very strong downtrending currency that has a 1 or 2 day pop. Those are great entry points. So Swiss franc was definitely one of those entry points. The yen, not so much. The yen basically flat for the day. What was strong? The Aussie was the strongest currency of the day, up 0.5%. Again, these are fairly muted numbers. This is a slightly below average volatility day in Forex. Typically, you see, 0.5% moves, 0.5% to a 1% move on a good day, as you can see, pretty much everything was pretty muted here. I am still not a huge fan of Forex trading here. I think you have to be very, very selective with what you're going to take, and you've really got to nail it right. Like today, Aussie dollar was pretty much the only thing you do, maybe Aussie Swiss franc as well. Everything else was very flat against each other. If we take a look at the rest of the market, the S&P up 0.5%, the VT up 0.8%. Look at cryptos. Big bounce back from that 24-hour sell-off. We'll take a look at all these cryptos individually, but I do have to say they closed substantially off their high. They had a fantastic first 12 hours, and then we really faded the last 12 hours. We'll take a look at that and see, does it give us another entry opportunity, or is it potentially a sign that they're overly tired? Gold up 1%, oil up 1%. Oil's been stuck at $77 to $80 for I don't know how long. It seems like forever. So really nothing going on in oil. But I want to talk about gold. Take a look at this chart. Look at that. This is a monthly chart going all the way back to like 2010. You can see it is a huge run. It's just a huge run, and we are breaking out. This has been a long time coming. I don't see any reason why gold doesn't continue to move higher. Now, look, I'm not saying buy it now because it's going up tomorrow or the next 2 days. I'm just saying when you see a breakout like this over a long period of time, it is very substantial. And in the cryptos, we had Ethereum as the clear winner. Clear winner up 8.3%, but as I said, they pulled back. I saw Ethereum at one point up 13.5%. I saw Bitcoin up about 8%. It closed up 4%. Everything closed substantially off their high. I want to take a look at all of the cryptos here when we get into the charts to really kind of show you what's going on. We want to be buyers on pullbacks, and we want to be sellers on rallies. This is where we are right now. We're at kind of the later stages of this rally. There's still money to be made, but you definitely, it's not like 2 months ago where you could just buy and ride up this big wave. Now, it's going to take some trading prowess for you to make some money off of these moves in the crypto market. If we take a look at this S&P chart, we've had a very big run. We've had a big run, and really these runs are very comparable with like the runs that we usually get at the end of a bear market, you know, where a bear market's been really brutal and really tough and just stocks have been pounded down like 40%. Typically, they have a big bounce at those moments. We didn't have that moment. Yes, we had a little weakness in October, but not like that. This has been a very, very strong bounce. You would expect at some point it starts to get a little tired. And I think that's just what we're seeing here. These candles, there's nothing in these candles that are really saying it's risky or it's over, it's done. But there's definitely something in these candles that are telling you it's tired. Take a look at this one, long upper shadow. So at one point we're up and then we lost it by the end of the day. We gapped down and we had a little bit of selling come into the market. So we gapped down and then we pushed down more. Yes, we did bounce off the bottom. We got a gap up today, a run, but as you can see here, we lost it all by the end of the day. This is just telling you, again, we saw this a little bit here, got a little bit tired, but look at that. The gap down was so brutal that people came in and bought it. It's just a little sign that things are getting a little tired. That's it. Just like what we got last week. We had 4 days where the market went down, and it was just a little tired. I think exactly where we are here, I think we can get all the way back down to that 50-50, where's the bottom of this box here. That's just support. And you can see all of this is going to be in the bigger view of a high base. Again, we had a little bit higher high, but overall, the market has been going sideways for about the last week. I don't see any big risk of a huge fall. And I was actually talking to one of our traders and I asked him, what are the odds right now that you think the market's going to take a big fall, like a big 5 to 10% fall? He's like, very low, like 10%. And I said, great. What do you think the odds are that the market's going to have a big rally up and shoot higher? And he's like, not very good, like 10, 20%. And I agreed. I said, I agree with that. So what you're saying is, you think it's going to be somewhere in the middle. And he said, yeah, I would still be wanting to go to the bullish side, leaning bullish, but definitely not pedal to the metal here. totally 100% agree with his analysis. I think there's no reason to be bearish here. There's no reason whatsoever. But for right now, we're on pause. This market rally is on pause. Something is going to reignite it again, most likely. And then we'll break out and we'll go make a new high. That's the most likely scenario to happen. Let's take a look at the calendar here. We have two big things. We've got the ECB. The ECB, we've got their announcement, and then we have their press conference. Now, typically you get a little bit of a move off of the announcement, and then 30 minutes later, the press conference starts. The press conference is usually where you get most of the fireworks. I'm watching this because the euro is my #1 trade. That was what I put on the top of my list this week. Euro yen had a nice little move early in the week that has pulled back. We'll take a look at that chart. I'm definitely looking at euro yen, euro Swiss franc, and even euro dollar off of this. I don't know what the ECB is going to say. They could come out and say something that kills the euro, and then that trade will be off. But I'm going into this report thinking the euro is likely to be in play. We also have Chairman Powell testifying to the other branch of Congress. And again, I doubt there's going to be much fireworks here. He already kind of said what he had to say at the first time. I just don't see this being all that meaningful. Remember, Friday, we do have employment reports. These are going to be big moves, so there's no reason to go crazy tomorrow. There's going to be plenty of trading activity over the rest of this week. So if you don't want to trade Euro ECB, that's fine. There's going to be lots to trade on Friday. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the currencies that moved. I want to update our score and see if we're still looking in the right place. Do you want to be a professional trader? Maverick Currencies is the oldest US-based Forex and crypto prop trading company that will pay you for trading with our capital. Trade our capital and keep 70 to 80% of the profits. We are looking for traders just like you that are hardworking and motivated. Click the apply link on the top right of this video to see if you have what it takes. That link takes you to a 4-minute video that explains the trader position available, and you read a list of FAQs that answer pretty much all the basic questions you have at this point. After watching the video and reading the FAQs, if you're interested, fill out an application, then you'll watch the full-length recruiting video, and then schedule an interview with one of our traders. Are you our next trader? Let's start off with the dollar basket. I think that's a good place to start. We had talked about how it was just stuck in this range. And on the weekend in the currency room, we said, hey, you know what? We're neutral to dollar, but neutral to bullish, because when you take a look at the big picture, we are moving higher. But we've been stuck in this little area here for a while. As you can see, we're coming back to this support line. If this support line breaks, I actually think that we could easily take a leg down to this next level of support. I am watching dollar to move lower because I do think that there is some potential here, especially with the bonds doing what they're doing and gold doing what it's doing, to push this dollar lower. So at the first of the week, I wasn't a fan of trading dollar. I'm becoming more of a fan of trading dollar over this week. With that being said, is it my favorite short? The answer is no. Here we have the yen on the daily, ran up, had one or two little down days, and we've kind of stabilized this area. Now look, we always love it when you get what's called a V bottom or a V top. This is a V bottom. It hits a bottom and then it rallies up. Sometimes you get what's called a W bottom. Here's a W bottom here. Comes down, rallies up, falls back down, and then makes a run. We're getting just the exact opposite here. We're running up, we fell down, we went back up. I still like yen short, but it's definitely not moving now. If I'm looking at any trades here over the next 12 to 24 hours, yen isn't doing it. Yen is not there at the moment. So I come over to Swiss franc and I say, oh, here is a trade that is moving. Here is a trade that just meaningfully did something on a chart. And we just broke down below some support. Yes, we had a little bounce. We had a little bounce off that low, but I still like Swiss franc. So Swiss franc is going to go to the top of the list for a short. If I take a look at the euro, we've had a little bit of a pullback. I'm waiting for that euro. I think this is setting up really nice into the ECB off of a 3-day pullback. I really like it. We'll definitely take a look at Euro Swiss franc here. I'm not really going to take a look at anything else because I don't love anything else on a daily chart. Here's the Aussie. Ugh, like it's sideways. It's totally sideways. The Kiwi hasn't done anything over the last 5 or 6 days. No reason to believe it will. So I'm just going to skip into the cryptos because I think this is really where the story is. Here's Bitcoin. Ran up, a couple days of a base, ran up, had a big challenge, ran all the way down here, came all the way back up. Volatility is definitely the name of the game right now. The cryptos are in play. And what I mean by that is the more people are playing them, the more volatility there is. The bigger swings up and down, the more times they swing up and down. This, again, this is what I'm talking about. You had very smooth runs. Now they're very choppy, and I think you need to be shorter term. Where we are right now in Bitcoin, we just had this run from 61 up to 67.5. We're basing here. I think you cannot look at buying this until it breaks 67.5. I think you just, that short term is just, that's the only entry place that makes sense. Here's the problem with that. You've got some overhead resistance up here. So you don't have a ton of room until we hit the next level. I think if you take a long here, I think you have to understand it might take a while to get through this and it might spike up and spike back down. I think this is going to be a fairly difficult trade. If it does pull back to this 50-period moving average, this is on a 4-hour chart, I think that's a decent setup for this. But the question is, okay, this is Bitcoin. Is there better? Let's take a look at Bitcoin Cash, and you can see this is absolutely not better. Definitely shows some relative weakness to the others. I've been talking about Ethereum and Litecoin as probably the best cryptos to trade at the moment. Take a look at Ethereum. We broke the high back here, and we're holding this level. So what was resistance is now becoming support. If you're going to trade, I think this is where you want to look. And you can see here, we don't have a lot of overhead resistance when we break out of this area. So for me, Ethereum looks much, much better on a trade. Let's take a look at Litecoin. Litecoin, you can see big run up, big pull back, big bounce, but really fizzling here. Ethereum to me is the top trading cryptos. But what is the entry point? 3,900. So maybe 3,905 would be a decent entry point to set on this one. That is the world of crypto. I like Ethereum the best. Here is our currency board. And you can see a lot is in the center. A lot is in the middle. We don't like to trade anything when it's really just hanging out here. Like I said, Ethereum to me is the best crypto to trade. I really like Swiss franc and dollar on the short side. The problem is the currency I really want to use against them, the euro, is not moving at the moment. So I can't look at any euro trades. If I had to make a trade, which I don't have to, I would be looking at like Aussie Swiss franc and Aussie US dollar. We already looked at the Ethereum chart, so let's take a look at some of those other charts. Aussie Swiss franc and Aussie dollar. Here is Aussie Swiss franc. I'm going to go to a daily chart first. And you can see we're right at a nice little point of a breakout. And if we do break out here, what we want to see is, do we have a lot of room until the next level of resistance? And I think we do. As you can see here, we've got a nice little breakout happening, and we've got to get not quite out of it yet. So if you want to put in a potential buy here at 50, well, that's 57.99, so let's just call it 58. I think 58 makes a lot of sense for an entry, saying, hey, we've truly cleared out of this area. We've truly cleared out of this resistance, and we're ready to make a run up to the next level, which was around the 58.60. So again, that 60 pips, that is a full 1%. That is definitely enough meat on the bone for me to go after that one. So that's Aussie Swiss franc. And then let's take a look at Aussie dollar. As you can see, we've broken out above some resistance areas. Tough to see where the next resistance is here. There's going to be a little bit in here as well, as you can see. But once we get past that, the next level is up to 66.21. There's a lot of resistance in here, meaning I don't love this one as much. I would much rather go with Aussie Swiss franc than Aussie dollar here. Let's take a look at the last one here, Euro Swiss franc. Euro Swiss franc breaking out nicely, breaking out very, very nicely here on this daily chart. You can see clearing out of a lot of resistance here. It's got a lot of momentum. We have been running up, pulling back, running up, pulling back. Here we got another pullback. I don't hate this one for an entry. This does have the ECB tomorrow morning, so be cautious. I'm going to wait until after the ECB, but this is definitely on the top of my list after that announcement. The risk on move is still holding. It looks a little tired, but I think we can still count on it holding in there. Remember, ECB tomorrow morning. So if you're trading euro, be very cautious at that. There's likely to be a couple of whipsaws in there. Runs up, runs down, then runs back up. Triggering stops. We don't want anything to do with that. If you're going to play it over the announcement, make sure your stop is very wide, very liberal, which means your position size should be quite small. Once it comes out in the announcement, I'm looking to place a trade on some of those currencies we talked about. And as always, look for the strong, look for the weak. That's where you're going to make your best crypto trades and currency trades. Goodbye, everybody.